Judge, we're ready to proceed.
Go ahead.
Christopher Neville.
Come forward and take a seat, please. And raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Have a seat. You may go forward.
Thank you, Your Honor. I don't know where to start. I guess state your name for the jury.
Christopher Neville.
Mr. Neville, you're the same Neville as Mr. Neville who's been here since Monday afternoon, right?
Yes, sir.
And you were here all day yesterday
Yes, sir.
and all day today.
Yes, sir.
And you've heard these terrible things said about you, correct? And the list has grown.
That is.
It's not the list that you and I prepared for, is it?
No, sir.
Let me cut to the chase. Any of these terrible things that you've been accused of, did you commit any of them?
No, sir.
Is there any way that it could be construed by anyone, even a 7-year-old, that you committed any of these things? Is there any way that it can be construed or thought of, even by a 7-year-old, that you committed them?
You can. Yes.
No, wait. Let me make sure you understand my question. Could even a 7-year-old think you have committed any of these terrible crimes?
As in making it up. See, that's what I'm not about to say.
Well, my fault. I'm giving you a bad question. Have you committed any of these crimes?
No, sir.
Would a 21-year-old think you committed any of these crimes?
No, sir.
Would a 14-year-old think you committed them?
No, sir.
Would a 12-year-old?
No, sir.
Would a 7-year-old?
No, sir.
Where were you born?
In Beaumont, Texas.
How old of a man are you?
Sir?
How old of a man are you?
Oh, I'm 38.
And what have you been doing for a living?
I've had multiple jobs.
Tell us a few of them.
And I was in the oil field. I came back home to try to work local. I was in sanitation, custodian.
Take your time. Slow down. I got a lot of questions and I'm sure Mr. Eckhart's gonna have even more.
Yes. Worked at fast food places.
Did you go to high school?
Yes, sir.
When did you finish?
04.
Did you finish high school?
Yes, sir.
Where'd you go?
I finished at Eagle Academy.
And what year? 04, you told me. And you met your wife in 05. Where did you meet her?
I met her in Jason's Deli.
Where you
She
work?
was employed there. My niece was employed. They were friends. So my niece introduced us.
So you met your wife through your niece.
That's correct.
And what's your niece's name?
Sierra Neville. Well, safe time.
Sierra.
Yes.
But Jason Silly at the, where is he? On Stag.
Gateway.
Gateway. Time sure flies. It's been 20 years.
Yes.
And how long did you date your wife?
We dated for year and a half, 2.
And you married about 2007, I think she said?
That's correct. 77, 07.
And you had a son about 2007, correct?
That's correct.
And the employee was 2012.
That's correct.
What were you doing for a living then?
I wasn't employed at this.
What had you been doing about that time? Or what types of jobs were you looking for about that?
I know it was close to that time. I don't know if it was before or after. I'm trying to remember. I think it was before. Actually, I was working at a diesel mechanic shop as a helper in Pasadena, Texas.
Where did you live?
I was back and forth, I had family in, Baytown, so I would stay there. And come home and. Leave,
You were home on weekends or off days?
yes, sir.
And you had, about that time, you had two small children? Or just one or something?
One biologically one. But
And that's right, they're 5 years apart.
yes,
You've heard a lot of talk about drugs
yes, sir.
and addiction. When did any of that start?
Okay, so, marijuana, that was, let's say, 17 or 18 age. Anything else, pills wise, that was later on in life. Years, I don't remember the exact years.
Was the marijuana of such a degree that it was inhibiting your way to make a living?
No, no, no. It was off and on. Everything has been off and on.
When did the pills start? About. Didn't have to be the exact year.
Okay, so I was looking for you. My apologies. I was thinking somewhere around 09.
Around 2009?
Yes, sir.
You're 25 then? Tell me again what year you're born.
85.
85. You're about 24 then. Was it something you argued about with your wife, your marijuana or your pills?
Not the, well, I take that back. We did, argue about marijuana. It wasn't a big issue at the time. Like I said, it was off and on. Okay, so we argued about a lot of stuff just for no reason, to sort that out. And marijuana was just added into the equation whenever she was mad. Other than that, it was never an issue.
I thought marijuana was supposed to make everybody calm,
It made me calm.
but it affects different people different ways at different times. Were you smoking all day or just in the evening, or
Yeah, it was most of the evening thing.
were you trying to go to work soon?
No.
When did you first realize you had a drug problem? You had an addiction. I've asked
So
some
the
people,
addiction, like, okay, so when I realized it was an addiction, when I was smoking more than I would usually smoke, dealing with what I was dealing with in the marriage. That was like, I just started in the beginning of the marriage, like within a year of the marriage.
you thought you had an addiction within the year of the marriage?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I was doing too much, so I just say that it was an addiction. That's the thing.
What did you do about it? Did
I
you,
kept smoking,
it increased?
it increased.
Were you doing anything else besides marijuana?
No, not it.
When did something else start, and what was that something else that started?
It was pain pills. It was from I was in an accident. And so I started taking pain pills.
Were you in a car accident?
Car accident.
What happened?
I was rammed, we were all rammed from behind.
I'm sorry, say that again?
We were hit from the back.
Where were you?
We were exiting the freeway. I don't know the exact street.
But you were here local?
Close by. We were, sorry,
You were here local?
we were local.
Were you the only one injured?
The way I was injured, yeah, as far as I know.
Were you by yourself in the car?
No, the whole family was in the car.
What part of your body was injured?
I lowered back.
And how about your wife? Was she
Uh,
injured?
She said she had back problems, but see, I also have slight scoliosis. So when it hit, it affected me different.
You had, tell me what that is?
Scoliosis.
What is,
My back, when it's out of order. My spine is not lined up.
The curvature of your spine?
Yes,
And what's it called again?
scoliosis.
So was that bothering you before the wreck?
Yes,
And the wreck
it just increased.
compounded? Well, tell us what kind of pills or what kind of medication you were taking.
Lower six
Lorcets and marijuana?
and marijuana.
And what else?
That's it.
Did you miss a lot of work with your back injuries?
No, I still went to work.
And
Just dealt with it.
where were you working then? If you recall?
I honestly don't know.
Because I heard your wife say yesterday, oh, man, I can't tell you how many jobs he's had, or something like that.
It's been a lot.
Think that's true?
That's true.
Why have you not been able to hold on to one job that you were comfortable with or you liked?
Okay, so when it comes to that, at the end of the day, self accountability is what it boils down to. But then being in this relationship, if it was a job that wasn't paying enough, my wife was just constantly complaining that I need to get another job, I need to get another job. I had to work around her schedule, so it's not like I can get multiple jobs like I wanted to. All right, so I would let these jobs go.
What kind of jobs?
Staffing agency jobs, custodial jobs, jobs that just wasn't paying much. I was going out because it was work, you know. I feel like that meant something instead of not trying to do anything for the family. Okay, so when I would get jobs that was actually paying quite a lot of money, those jobs require me to be gone a lot, to not be home.
What kind of jobs were those?
One was Coca-Cola. The job in Pasadena, that was another one. I gave that up because I was,
Was your family?
yeah, they were here, and she didn't want to move. The oil field, that requires you to be gone for months. Did the same thing.
Well, I mean, that's not uncommon in a marriage, money issues and people, everyone wanting to earn more money. What else caused the marriage to be so tumultuous?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Everything that I did was a problem. Everything she did, it flew. That's what it was.
Did you ever leave? Did you ever leave the marriage?
Yeah, multiple times we were separated.
But she still was living on Somerset.
Yeah, I mean, this happened before Somerset. We were staying in like 3 different apartments before Somerset.
You recall about what year you were in Somerset? Got to Somerset?
That was Coca-Cola, so that was 2008. That's how we ended up getting, her job and my job at the time.
Well, you've heard your wife and your kids talk about your temper
Right.
and your volatility.
Yes.
Is that true?
Okay, so there was, we did argue a lot. I chose not to want to do it in front of the kids. She wanted to just keep going no matter what. That was majority of the times. So as the years went on, it just got worse. So yes, I would be frustrated, but I was just not like some type of monster that just would get high or just want to abuse women and children. It's not my thing.
Well, you heard Jaden and you heard Chloe and you heard your wife talk about them getting it pretty bad. Physically. Did that happen?
No, not to the extent of body slamming my.
That was the term she used yesterday. That didn't occur?
Man, things like that did not occur.
What about just whipping with your hand or a belt?
What about this? This is how we discipline our children.
Were they scared of you?
They respect me. Scared, no. I mean, they had no reason to be scared of me. At least I didn't feel like they were scared of me. I didn't want them to feel me.
But you heard him.
So I heard about that. Thanks.
Were you in and out of the house a lot, is it fair to say?
Later on in the marriage, yes, I was.
About when? Because we gotta get along, you know, you had like about a 12-year relation of marriage. You gotta help us.
So after that 5th-year marriage, I mean, that should have been it. Should have been it from the beginning, to be honest with you. As she stated, it was just about the kids. I was in love. But
Hold on for
anyway.
just a second. Y'all are gonna have to leave because you're now becoming the focus of attention. Those of you right here who are making a scene, you're either gonna leave or straighten up, folks. This is the important up here. You're spectators in the gallery. Leave if you can't control your emotions. Does everybody understand that? Jury has an important job. And it's not you becoming the center of attention. Bailiffs, escort them out next time we have a problem. Thank you. All right, pick up where we left off.
Where were we, Chris? What were we talking about?
What was the after the 5th-year?
Why didn't you leave?
I'm sorry,
Why didn't you leave?
why did not leave?
That's about the time Chloe was born, correct?
Yes, that's the thing. That's why I was like, the marriage, man, it was hard. So she wanted to have another child. I'm like, after what we already been going through, I didn't think it was a good idea, but I still wanted to work it out and make her happy.
And Chloe turned out to be that child she wanted to have.
Yes.
So what happened around that time? What were those years like? Were you working then?
Yes, I was working. I was at Ritter. That was another job.
Ritter, what's that?
A lumber company
Where is it?
off of 105.
How long there, do you recall?
Not very long. I don't know the exact time.
Well, Chloe said my dad don't work that much. Is that true?
Meaning.
But you didn't work that much. I don't know
I've
what it
had multiple jobs, so I mean, yeah, I would work. Just end up in a different job, trying to find jobs that would work. Work around the schedule.
And where was your wife working?
She was that same.
She was there all those years, right?
She was there all those years.
I know you don't want to talk about it, and nobody does. But when did you really realize you were having problems with your addiction? There had to be some episode or some year or something where it was impeding you.
Like I said, I know it's because of the increase. I didn't. Be anything like that.
Well, your children describe episodes and your wife describes episodes where you were losing your ability to function, like walk and talk. Do you remember those? Do you remember anything like that?
A situation that did happen like that that happened in 2000. That was in 19. Again.
That was back when?
That was in 2019. At the end of this.
What happened?
Okay, so at that point, I was self-medicating on others, on Adderall. So dealing with all the confusion and frustration and the arguing, I like to stay busy. If I'm not working or at work, I'm at home, I'm cleaning, I'm moving around, I'm going. So the uppers help me do these things and not like just be depressed all the time. So what ended up happening was I was up for 2 or 3 days of constantly going. I would sleep a couple hours, but mostly up. But the fact that I didn't get a lot of sleep, I'm constantly medicating myself and going, plus caffeine and not eating, it played a big part of me having that episode. And the only reason that episode really happened was because of also emotional issues. The situation happened, and we were outside, and then now before that I was fine. None of that was going on. I mean, I was still able to walk, but I wasn't just as, my structure was just as firm as it should.
You were speeding
Yes.
and you were up
Yeah.
and doing things and not sleeping
Not really,
and not eating.
not really, and caffeine
Why?
and nicotine.
Why?
Cause man, I was super depressed. I just had to keep going. After everything that's been going on all this time is, I didn't know no other way to deal with what I was dealing with at the time. And I've learned since.
How many episodes did you have like that?
No, that was just that one episode.
Was EMS called out
Your message was called out.
and they had to, did they take you?
Yes, by choice. They didn't have to. Just.
And you heard Chloe today say that you put your penis in her vagina. And she told us today that that's the first time she's ever said that. Is that true?
No, it's not true. At all.
Why would a 12-year-old, do you have any idea? Why, and if you don't, you don't. Why a 12-year-old would come in and say that is something that happened more than 5 years ago?
No, I have no idea.
Do you have any idea why she would talk about the incident? You heard her talk about the incident in the garage, where you made her put her mouth on your penis. Why would she say that?
No idea.
And a similar incident where you wanted her to put her mouth on your penis in a car when y'all were on the way to go get gasoline. Do you have any idea why she'd say
No,
that?
sir.
And all those are new to you today, correct?
All of this is new.
Well, you were under indictment, or you are under indictment for touching her genitalia.
Right.
And you're under indictment for your genitalia touching her genitalia.
That's what it says.
But all these other things have come up since, I guess, Wednesday, she said. That's the first time you've heard.
First, yes.
Let me go back to, do you know what goals night is?
I know what it is.
Do you know about what date they're talking about 2019?
No, sir, I don't remember this.
But it's the month of August or something like that?
Yes, it's the beginning of school.
Did you do anything that could be considered inappropriate with her around goals night?
I didn't do anything like that, period.
Well, I gotta ask you about all of them, because she had a lot to say.
I understand.
And she also said something happened around the time of her birthday, which was around middle of June 2015. You know what she's talking about there?
No, sir.
How about September? Excuse me. Fifth and sixth, September 5th and 6th, 2019, where you came into her room and touched her inappropriately, or your genitalia touched her inappropriately, whether it was in front or from behind. You know what she's talking about there?
No, sir.
Did you go in her room? Do you recall going in her room that night?
Oh, no,
Not that specific night,
no, sir.
but you've been in her room.
Yes, I was in charge of cleaning up the entire house.
That's why you were in her
That
room?
was one of my specialties also. I was the main one that did all of it, the only one. Well, my oldest son helped out too. He did,
Were you fully clothed?
all the time,
Well, you could have shorts and a t-shirt, right?
yes.
But a child's not gonna get that mixed up with naked, right? Why would she run in there and tell her mother all that, that she told him? You heard it all.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if I had answers for it, I would, but I don't know.
Mr. Eckhart asked of, your ex-wife if that had anything to do with the divorce. Do you think that had anything to do with the divorce?
I believe it did. This isn't the first time I actually had to go to court dealing with my wife. First saying that I did something to her. Or cops being called, period, in this relationship. This happened, countless of times. Her getting mad, wanting vengeance, here come the cops. It's almost like a routine. Like, I would know the energy when it approaches me. I would know what exactly was about to happen. That's how much it happened. It has to happen in this relationship. Well, past relationship. So yes, I do believe it has a lot to do with it.
But you're already divorced. Why would that child come in here and say all the stuff she said today?
Already divorced? No, that happened after.
And you know people want to believe children.
I understand.
Why would she make all that up?
No clue.
You have one moment, Your Honor? You've never gotten in bed with Chloe.
No, sir.
Well, fathers get in bed with their children sometimes. That's not a crime.
No, well, so when this, what's been said is I've gotten her bed. Is
Right?
that what you're saying? No,
Have you ever
that's-
been in a bed with her?
Yes, I mean, that's my baby. Of course I have.
In what sense? You're in bed with her in what? Are you touching her?
No,
Wait.
not inappropriately.
You just,
It's my
Hugging her?
baby, it's comforting.
when was that?
All in her life. I mean, since a baby, growing up.
Do you think she's just lying? Do you think there's something wrong?
I don't believe she's doing this on her own. I believe this is motivated. That's just my belief.
Motivated in what sense?
In the sense that her mom has something to do with it.
Why? Do you know her motive? Or do you have an inkling?
Dealing with also with the divorce and also wanting custody of the kids.
You think the mom believes it's, all this is necessary in order to get a divorce and get custody of her children?
Yes, she told me she wished that I would get, prayed even, that I would get 20 years one day.
Just
So-
have a, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying, so yes, I do believe that,
When did she say that?
years back,
She just blurted it out?
blurted it out. Out of anger, of course.
You were indicted. April 28th, 2021. Almost 2 years after these allegations.
Right,
What were you doing all that time?
I was with family,
You with your family?
my family.
What did you think was going on? What did you think was going on? Did you know anything was coming up?
I mean, I knew this was off my head, hanging off my head, waiting to be brought back to my attention, well, you know, legally.
And that night, I think it's Officer Froman,
Yeah.
came out to the house and took you,
Away.
gave you, diffused the situation, gave you a ride all somewhere and said, look, stay away at least 24 hours.
Yeah.
What did you do after that?
Stayed away. Glad.
Went live with your family.
I'm sorry.
You went and lived with your family.
Yes, my family took me.
What were you doing else out there by the air conditioner?
Okay, so, I was in the backyard smoking a cigarette, well, about to smoke a cigarette, and I seen lights just flashing in the trees, just, I'm not knowing why this is going on. I didn't know the officers was coming, to be honest, I didn't know they were there, I just seen lights. So I decided to go around the house, on the side where the street light was, cause on this side, there's no lights over there, I don't wanna go in, you know, do anything in the dark, or come out of behind the house. I don't know what's going on. And also, like I said, we just had an argument, so I didn't know what she was up to. So anyway, I see the lights, I decided to go on that side. But as I'm coming around the house, I see the flashlight coming on that side. So immediately I just sat down. I ended up putting two and two together that it was an officer. So I didn't want to start at him, which I ended up doing anyway. So I just sat down. I'm not knowing that the unit stood taller than me. I decided to get to that one because I was taller than that unit. So I thought it was slow, so I decided to go sit right next to that, and he could see me from behind, my back to him, no threat. That was my thinking at the time.
You heard Jaden say or he thought you were lurking around the house or something like that.
Well, not lurking, I mean, go in the backyard and smoke. The window's right there. Back door is like really close to that. One window.
Did you know the police were called out?
No, I did not know they were called.
Your wife said, check the roof. He goes up to the roof side. Ask what. Mr. Airport's asking a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I haven't had a chance to introduce myself, but my name is Sonny.
Hello.
Now, I guess I'll start with, back in 2019, were you over 17 years old?
Yes, sir.
So you were in your thirties, like Chloe said.
Yes, sir.
Back in 2019, was Chloe 7? Is that accurate?
Yes, sir.
What's her birthday?
6/1/2012,
And Jaden, what's his birthday?
1/11/07.
And now, what about that house in Somerset? Is that in Jefferson County, Texas?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm just trying to take in everything that you just testified to and make sure I understand.
Yes, sir.
Chloe Neville, who testified today, that's your biological daughter, right?
Yes, sir.
Jaden Neville, who testified today, that's your biological son, right?
Yes, sir.
Latoya Neville, who testified yesterday, that's your ex-wife.
Correct.
Do you recall when specifically she filed for divorce?
No, I didn't find out. The paperwork was in the car one day and I was cleaning the car. And that's when I found it. I didn't know when.
Okay. She talked about July 26, 2019. Do you have any reason to disagree with that?
No.
Okay. And then sometime later, either September or October of 2019, is that when there was a hearing?
Yes, I don't remember the exact date.
Did you go to the hearing?
Yes, I did.
Were you still living at the house on Somerset when you went to that hearing?
No, sir, I stayed gone. Go back. Anything.
Now, when you went to that hearing, the judge had to make a decision, right, about all the issues, and who the kids were supposed to go with and all that in the divorce, right?
Correct.
And you, at the end of that hearing, did you have any opposition to anything that the judge was being asked to find in that divorce about the custody of the children?
Did I not?
Like,
agree?
did you oppose it?
Yeah, I was fine with everything.
Okay. You understand that the custody of the children went solely to Latoya?
No, it didn't say that in the paperwork. I mean, I was still, I don't remember seeing it, to be honest with you. I just know I still had to pay child support. So would that mean that it was solely custody?
You're still a legal parent.
Okay, yeah, all right. Just making sure I understood.
Okay. You didn't have a problem with that?
No, I didn't.
Okay. So, because what I understand what you tried to explain to us is that there's this motive out there to make something up against you, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I want to kind of talk about that and make sure we understand. Let me go back to the kind of like this timeline of the summer of 2019. Did you have a job at any point during the summer of 2019?
Yes, I did.
Okay, what job specifically?
It was two different jobs, actually. One was the sanitation job I was telling you about, who I mentioned earlier, and home furniture.
Okay. Now, how long did you work each of those jobs?
Sanitation job went for about 6 months, I believe, and home furniture about the same.
So you were,
Remember the exact date.
if it's 6 months and 6 months, are you saying you had a job the entire year of 2019?
Yes.
So,
I just don't know the dates and from when that job ended and started for the next, because it's summer, so in the middle.
were there times in the summer of 2019 where you were at home during the day with the kids while they were on summer break?
Weekends.
Okay,
On the day I was at work.
okay. How did you get to work?
Sanitation job, we shared the vehicle. And home furniture, my mother, and sometimes I would use the vehicle, like on the weekends. In some weekends I would work, so she wasn't at work, so I would keep the car.
Okay. Now, in that summer of 2019, Chloe's birthday is June 1st, right?
Right.
So she was turning 7 that summer.
Yes.
Do you remember Chloe's birthday party?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry, excuse me. Yes, sir.
When was her birthday party?
I don't remember the date.
Was it after her birthday?
Yes, it was.
It wasn't the same day as her birthday?
No, sir.
Did you go to that birthday?
I did.
Okay, where was it at?
It was at some, it was a museum. My first time seeing this museum, so I don't know what type of museum it was. It's like boats. It was out in it.
And when you, and that, I guess that would have been June of 2019, right?
Yes.
Sometime. Okay, so, and then was it July that the divorce proceedings were filed?
Okay.
So do you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay, so now we go a little bit farther into the timeline that Chloe described, and in August, is that when Chloe went back to school?
Yes.
Okay, where was she going to school?
At the time, she was at Dish.
How far was Dishman from the house?
This wasn't very far. It was south of Walden. So from our location to there, it was like a 5-minute drive maybe.
And did you take her to school, or did she ride the bus, or did her mother take her?
She rode the bus there. The bus would literally pick her up in front of the house every morning.
And Jaden, did he ride the bus too?
Yes, but his bus stop was down the street.
Now, you were asked about goals night. Do you remember goals night at DISD?
No, sir.
You don't?
No, I mean, I remember it happening. I just don't remember what happened that night.
Okay. You remember a thing called goals
Oh,
night?
yes.
Did you ever go to goals night?
Yes,
Did you go to goals night in the start of the school year for 2019?
yes.
Okay. Do you remember who Chloe's teacher was?
No, I don't. It's been a while.
Do you remember?
Face, yes, I'm sorry, I just named no.
Do you remember anything about goals night specifically that can help us figure out what was going on there, like at the goals night?
Yes, I mean, so what they're doing is you're meeting the teachers and they're setting out goals for the kids to, what they feel like they should reach.
Now, do you agree with Chloe and Latoya about the timing of when goals night would have come about towards the end of August of 2019 or beginning of September 2019?
Yes, sir.
So you had this auto accident in 2013, right?
Right.
And you, did you make a civil claim and sue for damages to the person that caused the accident?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you had to go through a whole lawsuit,
Yes, sir.
and you had to get referred to a doctor for treatment.
Yes, sir.
And as part of that treatment, you were prescribed controlled narcotics for pain management.
For pain management.
And is that where you became addicted to pain medication?
Yes, sir.
Later down the road, you mentioned that you started taking Adderall.
Yes, sir.
Okay, where did you get an Adderall prescription?
I didn't. That was self-medicating. I got it from school.
Okay, so you illegally purchased Adderall off the street and
Yes.
used it.
I did.
Okay. Did you know whether that was actually Adderall or not?
I mean, it said it on the bottle when it was shown to me.
Okay. Do you remember that incident where EMS was called by your family, and you had to get taken to the hospital?
Yes, voluntarily.
You say voluntarily, but do you really remember that incident very well at all?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember not being able to communicate with officers or even utter a word at the scene?
Actually, we did have a conversation.
You remember the officer that responded to that call?
I don't remember his name.
Do you remember whether he had a little body cam on him?
Yes, sir.
Would it surprise you if we had that body cam and provided a discovery to your attorney?
With it, no.
And have you had a chance to watch that and see what you look like? Now, when the EMS was called, what substances like drugs were you specifically taking that led to that event?
That was ecstasy.
Okay, so here's my question about that, because you described to us that you were on addicted to pain medication, right?
Yes.
And you just told your attorney that the reason that you had that issue in the first place was because you had taken pain medication with marijuana.
Yes.
Okay, but now you're telling us that you had taken ecstasy.
Correct.
Okay, and do you know whether that ecstasy was laced with methamphetamine?
No, well, later on I found out it was.
Okay, so you know that because there was a whole thing about that. wasn't there?
Yes. And that was part of why I was going through what I was going through.
Okay, so you were not just abusing prescription pain medications. There were other things. Is that
Oh,
fair?
so the prescription pain medication didn't last long. I ended up getting off of pain medication.
Okay, when did you get off of pain medication?
Oh, that didn't last, that's a couple of years.
Okay, so you had this auto accident in 2013, right?
Right.
Okay, so you're saying I'll re-ask the question. You had this auto accident in 2013, right?
Yes.
Okay. And you are saying, you're telling us now that you were on prescription pain medications for about 2 years after that accident?
Somewhere around 2 years.
Okay, and then you stopped using prescription pain
Yes, sir.
medication? Okay, so what substances were you using to self-medicate after you stopped using prescription pain meds?
I just kept that marijuana for a while.
Okay, but just smoking marijuana wouldn't make you like you were that day that the EMS was called? You will admit that you did not look good there, did you?
Correct.
You'll admit that it was very hard to understand what you were saying.
Correct.
You'll admit that you looked like you were in serious medical condition, laying on the ground.
Yes.
Okay. So how many other times have you been in that kind of state because of your self-medication?
That was the only time, that's what I'm saying.
Okay. Now, what about the time that your children said they walked in on you
No,
at this
no.
house on Somerset?
That wasn't, no,
Okay, well, did that happen?
no,
Okay. We'll get to that in a second.
that's,
So you said you're acknowledging that you did have a temper, or could be volatile sometimes when disciplining your kids. Did I
not
understand?
in rage, if that's what you're saying.
And I'm not
No, I
trying to.
mean, the
insinuate.
disciplinary, it was the same whether I was sober or not. I didn't do anything extra, I didn't just beat the brakes off my kids.
And I'm not trying to insinuate anything, I'm just asking.
I'm just making sure.
Now you, is it important to you that your kids respected you?
Respect, not fear.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't think that your kids feared you, do you?
I don't believe they did.
Okay. Now you heard them both testify here at court.
They said that,
They said they were afraid of you. Even your son said he was afraid of you.
yeah, he did say that.
What did you think about that when your son testified against you?
I mean, he's doing what he's supposed to do. What you mean, what he said?
Right, everything
Oh,
he
it
said.
bothered me. Yeah, it hurt. It hurts that, now knowing that if that was the truth, that's how he looked at me. That wasn't the image, that's not the relationship I wanted him to have with me at all. At least I didn't feel like there was a relationship we was having.
Well, according to the legal documents, you didn't have a problem having no relationship with him, right? When you agreed and consented to the divorce, you agreed to all that, and you agreed for their mother to have sole custody.
Well, so, I mean, with the divorce, that had to come with it.
Come with what?
The kids were going with the mom.
Well, there's such things as joint custody and shared and visitation and things like that.
Well,
Right?
that was in the paperwork.
It's not.
From my understanding, I thought it was.
Now, so tell me what give me an understanding of what your discipline looks like. Like you were, if Chloe or Jaden did something and stepped out of line, how are you gonna handle that situation?
The same way Jay said he, seen how I just, Chloe. She was bent over, spanks on the behind, and that was it.
Now, both of them testified that that was actually quite painful and they were afraid of you for that reason, right?
Yes.
Looking back on that now, do you still feel like you were acting reasonably in how you handled discipline with those kids?
Yes, and mom had that understanding. She did the same thing.
So what kind of things would you discipline them for?
Misbehaving.
How would they misbehave, like specific?
Like just not obeying what we're asking them to do.
So what was something, give me something you remember, an instance you remember where Chloe didn't do something you asked her to do and you had to discipline.
Okay. Education, going to school, acting up. You getting called from school that she's not, or Jaden wasn't doing what they're supposed to do at school.
Was that Jaden or Chloe?
Both, all three. These are,
Chloe seemed like a pretty good student to me.
okay.
Was she like that when she was younger?
Yeah, she's very smart.
Was she always involved in things like dance and sports and activities at school like she is now?
Yes, sir.
Did you ever go to dance recitals and things like that?
I did in practices.
When So in your mind, was there ever an instance where you crossed the line with Chloe or Jaden in using your term?
No, sir.
And you said that that LaToya, that there was like this routine with her where she would get mad and the police would call. And was there ever a situation where it was warranted to call the police?
Like they were needed?
Yes.
No.
So what about the situation where when police showed up, she had a black eye? Do you remember that?
Yes, that's the situation I was mentioning earlier.
Okay, I just want to make sure I understood which one we were talking about.
Yes, that one.
What specifically happened there?
Okay, so an argument started. And a lot of times when arguments start, I try not to sit there and entertain it, especially when it's nothing. Now if it's something, then okay, I'm take part in it, but a lot of the times that wasn't the case. So this time it wasn't the case. So argument starts, I go to the backyard, to go smoke a cigarette. I'm outside, smoking a cigarette. She's not done. So next thing I know, her fist is coming down my face. So I weed back, missed the lick. I start walking to the front to get away from her. So we're standing in the front yard. She still wants to fight. She
Your Honor, I'm gonna object to relevance, this incident.
Overrule.
So.
Go ahead.
Okay, so the argument is still going on. Well, mostly with her. At this point, I'm laughing because she's just nothing to me. I don't see a threat. It's a woman. She's just angry. So anyway, she leaves. She goes in the house. I wait for a while, about a minute. Let her. Hopefully she's cool enough, go in her room, do whatever. Just. So I decide to go in the house at this point. When I go in the house, all of a sudden the door hits her in the face. She's behind the door. The door hits her. She yells out, "Oh my God, please don't hit me." Like, the door just hit you. Like, so she made a scene from there.
The door hit her in the face?
Literally.
Now you understand that's not what she told police when they arrived on
I
scene.
do understand it.
And you understand that black eye that she had, it looked very much like just a round fist, didn't it?
No.
Didn't look like a round fist?
No, not to me.
Shape mark the stakes is at 7 and 8. Look, let's look at 8. What's that? Is that Latoya? Oh, yeah. Is that her accurate time that we're talking about?
Yes.
Okay. Is that what she looked like after that? Okay. And what about stake 7? Is that a close up of Latoya's eye?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Those stake 7 and 8, do those accurately and barely depict Latoya after that time? Okay. We'll offer 7 and 8.
Judge, defense objects to 7 and 8 grounds of relevance.
Overruled, they're admitted.
Ask, Your Honor, the court instruct the jury on what the exhibits are to be considered for.
Any purpose they feel like is directly or indirectly related to the jury instructions, I will give them in making their deliberation. Also goes to how they deem the credibility of this witness.
Are they admitted, Judge?
Admitted.
They were published.
Published.
Okay, so I can't get the TV behind you to work, Mr. Neville, but do you mind looking at this screen over here?
Yes, sir.
Alright. So right there, states 8, that's Latoya, right?
Yes, sir.
And is that her eye right there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You see how it's black? She got this little shiner right on her eyelid,
Mostly on top, yes, sir.
mostly on top. Okay, so where's the marks where she got hit by the door?
That is the mark.
Okay, so how'd the door hit her right there and only right there?
She was behind the door hit her. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you.
Now, like, see that door right there that the bailiff is sitting next to?
Yes, sir.
If that was the door, how would that have hit her only to cause a bruise right there on her eye?
If she's positioned correctly,
Okay, so it's just a matter
I
of
mean, that's
position,
my assumption. I'm not just know what happened.
just a matter of positioning.
Yes.
And looking close at state 7. Is that a close up of the black eye that she had from that time that we're talking about?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and do you acknowledge that it looks like a pretty circular injury to her eye?
Mostly the top.
Okay, mostly the top.
Yes.
Not
Black
quite
eyes,
as much
not know all of this is black. It's just not just top part.
Okay, not quite as much like at the,
All of that would be
Yeah,
black.
at
It
the
was
bottom.
just-
now. And you weren't arguing back with her that time, were you?
No, it was,
You were laughing.
I was,
What was funny about it?
the fact that it wasn't a threat.
Wasn't the threat?
No, not to me.
Is that because you're a lot stronger than?
Yes, of course.
Now. What, So when you were still living at that house on Somerset,
Yes, sir.
were you sleeping in the same room as Latoya?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so as long as you lived there, y'all did sleep in the same room.
Not the entire time.
If you argued or something, you wouldn't know.
Yeah, we
So where would you go if y'all argued?
sofa, garage.
Okay, so there's been a couple of people that said that you had like a little man cave out in the garage.
Yes.
Okay, so tell me about that. What was out there and what did it look like? Just a sofa?
I mean, you know, laundry, washing dryer and laundry all over the place.
Okay, so all the laundry that the house did was out there?
Yes, sir.
So if there were like dirty towels, would they be out there?
Yes, sir, everything.
And was that, like that sofa, was it kind of far, like, you know, there's a door, right, that goes into the garage?
Right there, it's right there.
Yeah.
Yes, it's right
So
there.
the sofa's right next to that door?
Right there.
Okay, and then on the far side of that garage, is there other stuff that was kind of like part of your little space, or was
No,
that
that was
just,
not my space. No,
just
that was
normal
like
garage.
storage. Yes.
yeah, garage stuff?
Yeah.
So, and where was the laundry in that garage?
Okay, so when you walk in, it's to the left hand side.
Okay, so the sofa and the laundry were right next to each other?
No, sir. Not like next to each other, no, sir. It's
Farther.
It's on the farther side.
Okay, on that side, on that wall, but not like standing right next to each other.
No.
Was there like a TV in there, or what did you do to?
At times I had a TV in there or a radio.
So like when you were in the garage, what would you do?
That's why I go to smoke
Smoke cigarettes?
and marijuana.
Okay, and smoke marijuana?
Yes, sir. Mostly cigarettes, but I have smoked.
You have been, a fairly regular marijuana user your whole life? Or
Not
at
my
least
whole life.
since you were a teenager?
Off and on, yeah.
Now, all these jobs you had, didn't they, when you got them, didn't they drug test?
Yeah.
Okay, so you,
So
Yeah.
most of the smoking was when I wasn't working. That's the off and on for it. I'm working, not.
okay. And when you say not working, you mean, as in you didn't have a job that you were going to?
Correct.
So on that September 7th, when the police were called,
Right.
they found you outside by the air conditioning unit, didn't
Yes, thank you.
they? And you said that you were just sitting out there, right?
Yes.
You saw the video that we all saw, States Exhibit 1, the body cam from the officer.
I did.
It looks like you're hiding in that video, doesn't
It
it?
does look like that.
Okay, so were you hiding?
No, I was not hiding.
Okay, you weren't hiding.
With nothing to hide from.
Okay. And when your son said he thought he saw you peering into the room, is that true or is that a lie?
No, I was not peering in the room. I was in the backyard though. You probably did see me. I'm not saying that, but I was.
So
You couldn't peer in the room. It was blinds are closed.
did you make eye contact with Jaden?
No,
Okay, so when he said that he made eye contact with you, is that true or is that a lie?
that's a lie. Okay, so him looking at me, maybe he looked at me and seen me, but I did not see him, if that makes sense.
I understand what you're saying, but do you understand that your son said that he made eye contact with you? Meaning he saw that you saw him and both saw each other.
Like that, no,
So that's not true.
that's not true.
Okay. Now, do you know why Jaden would lie about any of this?
No, I don't.
I'm just trying to understand. Okay.
No.
And that night when the police were called, is it true that you were cleaning in the bathroom while Chloe was taking a bath earlier in the day?
No, sir.
Okay, so when Latoya said that, that wasn't true.
That wasn't true.
So she was either lying or mistaken.
one or the other.
Now, Latoya, do you believe she was lying, in some of the things that she talked about?
Yes,
Okay. So do you have any reason to think that Latoya was mistaken, or was she purposely lying to make up things about you?
oh, I strongly believe it was purpose.
So, so when Latoya said that about you being in the bathroom cleaning while Chloe was, taking a bath, that's a lie.
That is a lie.
What about, later that night, when Chloe explained that she ran into, Latoya's room? Where were you?
I don't know.
Okay, well, a few minutes later, you were outside by the AC unit, right?
A few minutes later from what?
From when Chloe ran into.
I don't know when she did that. If she did it, I don't know.
I understand what you're saying. You never saw Chloe run into Latoya's room.
Right.
Okay, were you sleeping?
No, I was
Okay, so why were you up
cleaning.
at 2 a.m?
Yes.
Okay. You talked about how
She said that too. So I said it was cleaning. Yes.
I'm not gonna argue with you about that, but we can always look at it. You were cleaning at 2 a.m.
I was.
All right. How much Adderall were you taking?
Okay, so when I did find it, it was 30 milligrams per pill. So I would take just a couple. It didn't take much.
And when would you take one? Like what time of day?
Okay, so it was starting whenever I purchased the hours. And then, so I would go from there and just take it
And who did you purchase it from?
from a friend, associate.
Who's that?
I don't remember the name,
You don't remember their name?
no,
Okay. Was it always the same person?
mostly.
Where were they located at? Where'd you go? Where would you go and get it?
It was in Beaumont.
Okay. What house specifically?
Exact address.
Okay, well, you didn't have a car, right?
No, not person.
So who would take you there to go get it?
Either they would bring it or, I would use the Toyota's car
Okay. And how are you paying for it?
with my money.
Would you ever use, the money from Latoya's salary to pay for that?
No.
Okay, so you were using money from like what you earned for that?
Yes.
Now, so you took these Adderall and, how long, like how many months were you taking Adderall?
So Adderall became expensive, so it didn't last long. I wasn't on them very long.
Was
That's
it
how I ended up taking this towards the end.
ecstasy is kind of an upper as well?
Yes.
Okay. So how often were you taking Adderall when you were getting, every day?
Yes.
And you would take enough to the point that you would be up for 2 or 3 days in a row?
Not the Adderall. That happened with this.
Okay, so that was one thing I was trying to understand.
Yeah.
You were explaining that you were up for several days in a row.
Yeah, that was the ecstasy. That was, what I'm thinking is ecstasy. Ecstasy wasn't ecstasy. Something else was in the ecstasy. So I would stay up long.
And so how often were you taking ecstasy or what you thought was ecstasy?
For about 2 years.
Okay. And did this include some of the times we talked about in summer of 2019?
Yes.
Up to the point that the police were called?
That situation, right?
Okay. Were you taking ecstasy the night that we saw you on the body cam?
No, I was on the ecstasy.
Okay. What drugs were you on when we saw you?
That
on
was
the
just marijuana.
body- Okay, so you'd been smoking marijuana earlier? Had you been smoking a lot?
Yes.
Okay.
I would.
And I just asked because you seem like you were pretty out of it in the video.
Okay.
Do you agree?
Yes, I mean, I was up late, smoking.
Now, when you would take ecstasy and it would cause you to be awake, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Now, I understand you're saying that it might have been something else. Not just ecstasy, right?
No, it was something that I didn't know at first.
Methamphetamine?
It was, yes.
And when you would take it, where would you get that from?
From different, neighborhoods, from word of mouth, from people that would say that someone would have it,
What people?
people that I was associated with at the time.
Yeah, like what's their names?
No, I don't,
And where would you go to get it, or would they bring it to you?
in the neighborhood, same thing. We would bring it, I would go get it.
Like what street was it on?
Young's which I don't remember the streets.
Now, when you would get that ecstasy, you understand that you bought that illegally, right?
Yeah, I understand
And
that.
crime is felony to have that.
I understand all that.
Okay. And would you do it when you were at home?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Okay. And it would cause you to stay awake, for a long period of time, right?
Yes,
Now, when you were awake for that many days in a row, are you telling us that you remember everything you did during that time frame?
most everything, yes.
Okay.
Been on others, yes.
You don't think that being sleep deprived for 72 hours might affect your perception of what's going on or your memory?
It will.
Okay, so
A
how did
little bit, it will.
how did it affect your perception and your memory? Being up for 72 hours on ecstasy?
The fact that not getting enough sleep alone is irritating, so. I'm not 100% the way I need to be. Does that answer your question?
Doesn't ecstasy make you feel good everywhere?
Everywhere.
Like all over, everything feels good to you when you take ecstasy?
Euphoric. Euphoric, like he's trying to say euphoric.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Is that something that happens when people take ecstasy?
yes.
Um. So when you're up for 2, 3 days in a row and you're taking these drugs, are you also smoking marijuana?
Yes.
And what happens when you smoke cigarettes and you've done these combination of drugs? Does that also kind of give you an unusual high?
No, actually, it calms you down.
Okay. All of this combined, you're still confident in your memories.
Yes.
Um,
Okay, so I lose my wallet, that's one thing, but anything that's dealing with something very serious, yes, I remember all of that.
And I want to talk to you about that.
I understand.
So Chloe came to court. You saw her. You saw what she testified to, right?
Yes, sir.
What did you think when she was describing everything that she remembers you doing to her?
Okay. That's really bothered.
How did it bother you and
It
why?
hurt. My daughter is saying this. That's why.
And when you're thinking about that, your attorney asks you, why would she make this up?
Yes.
I'm gonna ask you again, why would Chloe make this up? Now, is Chloe, when she talks about the things that happened, is she mistaken about what happened, or is she lying about what happened?
She's lying about that.
Okay. When she talked about how she does get whoopings from you, or did get whoopings from you, was she lying about that?
No,
Okay. When she talked about how, you would go into the garage, sometimes, was she lying about that?
no, she didn't lie about that.
When she talked about how you were on drugs at the house, was she lying about that?
No, she wasn't lying about that.
When she talked about how, when she talked about how she felt scared, because of some of the whoopings you had given her over the years and from what you were doing, do you think that that was a lie? Or do you think she was justified in being scared?
like I said, I had no idea that she was scared. So,
And I understand that, but that's not exactly what I'm asking. I'm asking, do you think it was a lie that she said that? Or do you think
no,
that,
I mean, if she told the truth on it, that was on her part. I mean, I didn't know she was scared though.
do you believe Chloe when she said she was scared?
Yeah, that's what she really meant. I mean,
Well, I said, you answered my question, but you also said if that's really what I'm asking, do you believe Chloe when she said she was scared?
I'm going to say this.
What about, Jaden? Do you believe him when he said he was scared?
Yes.
That, so all the other things that Chloe talked about as far as like what y'all's life was like, things that were going on in y'all's family at that time, all that seemed to be fairly accurate, didn't it?
I mean, I'm sorry.
Meaning like, what, what you being on, being on drugs and she seeing you on drugs, during that summer, right?
That is true.
Okay. And you, disciplining her and her brother, right? That's true.
Yes.
What about the, did you want the kids to stay in their room when they were at home and you were at home during the day?
That was, okay, what I didn't want them to do, since I had to organize and keep the whole entire house in order. I mean, it's a lot. What I did want them to do is be in the front of the house, in the front room area, kitchen area, constantly messing it up. So they had TVs, they had laptops, they had tablets, they had phone, they had all that in their room. So I just to see the need of them coming and junking that area up when you had your room to do all this.
So,
They were allowed to come out, use the restroom, do anything like that. They were allowed to go outside.
and
I
I'm
have
not,
a problem with any of that.
yeah, I'm not trying to question, I'm just trying to understand, okay?
Yes, sir.
When Chloe and Jaden both said that you wanted them in their rooms, is that true or not true, then, for the most part?
Yes,
Now, you may not agree with exactly how they described it, right?
right.
But them saying that you told them they needed to be in their rooms and not out in the living room, that's true.
Right.
Was Chloe a good kid when she was younger?
Exactly. Very smart. Yeah, we were blessed with some very well-rounded kids.
Now, was she the type of kid that would make serious allegations like this up?
Like this? No, I mean, I've never heard of it.
You don't know her now, so you don't know
Yeah.
if she's like that now.
No, sir.
Did, but of these things that Chloe described, are you telling us that you never went into Chloe's room at night? Say at 12?
Not naked.
So what is the circumstance where you would go in Chloe's room at night when she's sleeping?
I don't have to go in the room, the door's already open.
Okay,
I go and check on my kids, make my rounds, make sure they're asleep. They got school in the morning, they stay up. They have their tabs, they have their phones, and they'll stay up and be on these things at late hours. In the morning, they can't get up. So yes, I would patrol my home
so
and make sure that they're okay.
say what Chloe said was true, that you did come in at 2 in the morning, one night. Maybe, I'm not trying to ask you if you agree that you were wearing no clothes. I'm just saying, were there ever times where you would go in and check on her?
I didn't have to go into the room is what I'm saying.
So,
We'll just see that from the highway.
okay, now, she did say she closed her door sometimes, as did Jaden, right?
Yes.
Okay, so what if their door was closed? Would you open it and check on them?
Yeah, I would open it, but I didn't have to go in.
Now, what if you were high on ecstasy and marijuana
What is what?
and you went to go check on Chloe?
Same thing, nothing changed there.
So you wouldn't take your clothes off like Chloe said?
No.
You wouldn't get in Chloe's bed naked, like she said,
I'm sorry, no, sir.
and you wouldn't, lay behind Chloe and, touch her genitals with your penis over the top of her clothes, like she said?
No, sir.
And did you ever show Chloe, anything pornographic on your phone?
No, sir.
Okay. Did you watch pornography on your
Oh,
phone?
no, not that, on my phone.
Did you watch pornography on any other device?
No, sir.
Okay, so you would watch it on your cell phone?
On my phone.
Okay, so what website would you go to watch pornography on your phone?
God, I don't remember, this was a long time ago.
Is that how you would do it on the web?
On the web.
Yeah, like internet?
Yeah.
Alright, and when you would watch pornography on your phone, where would you watch it at?
In the room,
What,
my room, bedroom, main room, the parents' room.
I see. Would you ever watch pornography on your phone out in the garage?
Yes.
But you're here to tell us today that you never showed Chloe pornography on your phone and then, well, let me start. You never showed Chloe pornography on your phone.
I'm here to tell you, yes, no, not ever.
And are you telling us that you never showed Chloe pornography on your phone and then told her to do the things that were in that video?
No.
Help us understand why Chloe would lie about these things.
Said, I have no clue. I don't know, I mean, you asked me that, I don't know what to tell you.
Well, you insinuated earlier that it had something to do with the divorce, right?
Well, I mean, other than that,
Okay. So is there any other reason other than divorce that Chloe would lie or Chloe would have incentive to lie and make these things up against you?
no. Not that I can.
Now you understand that Chloe talks about encounters with you where you did this before there was ever even a divorce filed, right?
Right.
Okay, so
Hold on, wait. I don't remember, no, I don't remember the dates.
well, Chloe talked about encounters with you in June of 2019 and July of 2019, right?
Right,
And she said that it started happening regularly, every week,
okay,
okay? There was not a divorce filed until the end of July 26, 2019. So there wasn't even paperwork on file,
okay,
okay? So Chloe talked about encounters with you before Latoya ever even filed divorce.
and this was mentioned when? September?
I'm mentioning it right now.
No, I mean, when she said this. Supposedly said all this.
What do you mean?
Hold on, everybody. He's now asking you questions?
I'm giving him
It's
leeway
kind of
to
mixed
answer
up.
clearly.
This isn't the way it works.
No,
He asked the questions, you have a fair opportunity to answer,
No, that's
but you
not what I
can't,
meant.
sir, and don't speak over the court. When the court speaks, this lady has to take everybody, and when two people are speaking over at the same time, then she can't do it. She does 300 words a minute. And the Supreme Court says if she can't do her job, someone's gonna get held in contempt of court. It's not gonna be me. You know, when the court speaks, you shut down. Okay. You have a fair opportunity to answer every question he's asked of you. Ask your question. He gives an opportunity for a complete answer. That's the way the rules are. Let's don't be him asking you questions. All right, go for it.
Chloe talked about times where you came in her room and did these things to her before there was ever a divorce filed, right?
Right.
Now, she didn't make a statement about all that until September, right?
Right.
By that time, the divorce was almost final, wasn't it?
Yes.
And in that divorce, what is it that Latoya gained by making all this up?
The kids?
You didn't contest the kids in the divorce. You
Oh.
didn't want them, right?
No, I was honestly under the impression that it was joint. Honestly,
When you went to that divorce hearing, were you taking ecstasy?
No,
Were you high?
no,
Okay, well then why don't you understand that you gave up any rights to see your children in that divorce?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that question.
Yeah, can you rephrase it, please?
Do you understand that you gave up rights to see your children in that divorce?
now that you're telling me, yes.
You signed the paper.
I thought it was just a regular divorce, but I'm being honest.
And when you went to that hearing, there's a bunch of formalities that have to happen, right? Like the judge asks one person and they have to answer his questions, and then another person, they have to answer questions, right?
Right.
Okay. Were you asked questions?
Yes,
And did you answer those questions?
yes,
Okay. And did you look at that paper that you were supposed to sign and it,
I didn't know, sir, I just signed it. Just being out the way.
getting it out the way? For a divorce involving your children? Is that what you're trying to tell us?
The divorce, yes.
And you don't ever remember anybody mentioning that you were not a conservative of your own children, that you were giving that up because of what you were signing.
No.
Now, after that, had you talked to Chloe or Jaden ever since that divorce?
No, sir.
Now, when Chloe came here and testified, she talked about some of the things that she mentioned in her interview, and she talked about other things, didn't she? That were not mentioned.
Right.
Okay. Now, are you saying all of that is not true, that it's a lie?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
And there's no divorce pending right now, is there?
No, sir.
And there's no dispute over who gets rights to the kids anymore, is there?
Not anymore.
So what is it that Chloe is trying to accomplish by lying right now?
I have no answer for that. I don't know.
Okay, so essentially you're asking this jury, or you're putting it to this jury to either believe Chloe or believe you.
Yes,
And you're putting it to this jury to either believe Jaden or believe you.
yes,
And you're putting it to this jury to believe Latoya or believe you.
yes, sir.
Okay. And you did know this case was being investigated, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
Did you ever think that it would be important to reach out to the detective that was investigating this case and tell him what you've told us here today?
No,
Okay, why wouldn't you think that?
because he's not my lawyer.
No further questions.
Anything, Mr.
One
Vesky?
minute,
Sir,
got one more minute.
you bet.
Yep, briefly, Your Honor. The divorce proceedings.
Right.
You didn't have a lawyer.
No, sir.
Do you recall what you were signing?
Sir?
Do you recall what you were signing?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And Latoya was possessory conservator of the children. I mean, you know what that means? I live with her.
Right.
And you can visit, but they have to be supervised.
Right.
Okay. You don't recall signing anything where you relinquished your parental rights.
No, sir.
In fact, you were under child support order.
Exactly.
Okay. But you weren't real sure about that earlier, were you, when Mr. Eckhart was asking?
No, that's what I was saying. I was under child support and I was in the impression that I could see him.
You could see him under Latoya's supervision.
Right.
Okay. That's all I have.
Only with Latoya's permission, right?
Right.
No further questions.
Okay, Are we through with this witness? Joe? Are you,
Have one more.
anything?
I have no further questions.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna break for the evening. Can all of you return back at 9:30? 9:30? I think we're getting toward the end here. Real close to the end. So please remember the instructions the court has given to you, and we'll see you in the morning. Thank you. Everyone remain seated while the jury exits first. Thank you. All right, the jury has exited. Any other witnesses, Joe?
No, Your Honor, we rest.
Okay, rebuttal?
No, sir.
No, okay. Let's just, we are in recess. I just want to go over with y'all, make sure you've got everything on this jury charge. And let's get ready to rumble in the morning when 9:30 gets here so we can go through this, okay? And do your arguments and then get the jury deliberating. All right, everybody ready? Ready? Everybody, first
ready.
page is introduction. Second, definitions. A third, next page, continuous sexual abuse of young child. Next, indecency with a child. Intentionally. I've got knowingly in there, and of course, intentionally is only applicable to continuous sexual abuse of a child, but knowingly is included with intentionally on indecency with a child for them to consider. It's an element of the offense, but it's also part of the lesser included offense charge that you have requested that I'm allowing to be part of the jury charge.
Your Honor, may I ask, please, after continuous sexual abuse of a young child, what is the headline of the next page?
Indecency. The child.
Could you mix your pages out? Indecency with a child.
How can I not have that one?
Not earlier. Sorry.
I gave you all, I gave all of you. Do y'all have it?
Yes.
I gave all of you the same thing. We can get another copy for you if you've lost your copy, Joe. But in-
Your Honor.
You got it?
Yes,
All right,
please proceed.
okay, then next. You ready?
Yes.
Intentionally. Knowing. On or about. Voluntary intoxication. Take out defendant's election not to testify. Lesser included offense. Charge. General instructions, 3 pages. Verdict forms. Guilty. Continuous sexual abuse, not guilty. Continuous sexual abuse.
I don't think we need to. second
No.
one.
We don't need that, do we? We got guilty continuous sexual abuse of, then not guilty of continuous sexual abuse. Furthermore, we find the defendant guilty of the lesser included offense of indecency with a child. Third or last option, we, the jury, find the defendant not guilty of continuous sexual abuse of young child. We also find the defendant not guilty of the lesser included offense of indecency with a child. I think those are your options. And those, if you think of something we need to add or change, let me know in the morning. I've got some docket matters at 9, and I'd like to get right into this as soon as we can, so the jury can begin deliberating. Anything else?
No, I'm gonna get with Sarah.
All right.
I'm missing something else.
What do you mean?
Can I see you?
Sure.
We are. Thank you.
You're missing the verdict form?
Which verdict form?
Missing them. So it's up further.
It doesn't, no, none of them start off further. It goes furthermore in the middle. I don't know what you're talking about. You have. We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty of sexual abuse furthermore, we find the defendant guilty of the not guilty, not guilty.